Hey everybody, welcome back to my Chess Novice to Master video series. It's been a little while since my last video, and in the time I've been away, it has allowed me to change up the format for which I'll present the videos. And I think you'll like them as far as efficiency goes. The main reason I was away for so long was so I could take the time out to study. I bought a few books, I renewed my chess.com membership, etc. And taking the time out has really shown in my games, I think. Let's get started and I'll show you. So I played a 15-10 tournament on the chess.com live server, solely focusing on some of the openings I've learned. And I think that's what I'm going to do while playing online from here on out. Simply carry out some of the things I've learned, which I suppose is the point of learning them anyway. So I open with e4, double king's pawn opening, d4, the center game, and here your opponent usually can't help but to take. I recapture with my queen. They kick my queen, then queen e3, which signifies the pulse and attack variation. Some natural development. My opponent decides to chase my queen away, so I decide to move to g3. Now they play g6 here, which I think a better move would have been knight to f6. One is just some more natural development, and two, it here just weakens the dark squares since you don't have the bishop here to fianchetto on g7. And then castle in a King's Indian sort of style, and keeping that solid wall of protection here while having the attacking chances with the bishop. So I decided to play bishop e3, which the computer thinks is a mistake, but my thinking here was I'm going to try to see if my opponent will bite and trade their dark square bishop, and that way kind of sort of give me an advantage of the dark squares. My opponent bites. They played knight to b4 here, which the computer calls a blunder, but my opponent was obviously looking for a very strong tactic here. You take on c2, check the king, and you fork the queen and rook, which looks very dangerous, and to novice players like myself, this can seem very delicious, very tasty, something you want to go for right away. But this can be knocked away in a couple different ways. The best move I did not play. Let's see if you see it. The best move here was simply castling long. Defends this square with the king, and you still have the knight protecting a2 for if they decide to take a2 and check the king, you can just take their knight and you'd be up the exchange. I decided to play d3 here. Now I wasn't even thinking about castling long. I was either going to play d3 or queen d2 in hopes of defending the c2 square. And the computer calls this a blunder, but either way it still defends the square. My opponent's obviously going to go after my bishop, so I go after their knight. Now they attack my bishop, and I can't take their pawn, even though it looks free, with hopes of defending my knight here again, because if I take it, they wouldn't take my knight. They'd go for that dangerous tactic I was talking about, and then end up winning my queen, and probably having me resign the game, because that's what us novices do. We resign the game when we lose our queen. So I take their knight, they take my bishop, and I take their pawn. So I now have a knight and a pawn for a bishop. That means I am up the exchange, since a knight and a bishop are worth roughly the same. Now my opponent develops their knight. I simply castle. My opponent castles. I develop some more. My opponent moves their rook to try to give them some space. Now I play queen h6, very dangerous. You have no protection with these dark squares, so it's something you should really look out for. Perhaps checkmate is inevitable at this point, but my opponent just plays a move attacking this undefended pawn, and now there's a mate in 3. And it's inevitable at this point. So Go ahead and see if you see the this common mating pattern. Well, I saw it, and it was very delicious. Knight to g5. They move their knight, having their queen attack my knight, but by then it's too late. Check, you can't take my queen on h7. Only move, and checkmate here. This was a very good game for me, because, the opponent I was playing was rated a little bit lower than I am, but it was a good chance for me to kind of play this center game and this double king's pawn game, because usually when I play e4, e5, there's usually knight f3, knight f6, and then bishop b5, or I'm sorry, knight c6 and then bishop b5, playing the Roy Lopez, and things like that. But this gave me something different to do, and I really like it. I played as often as possible I could in the 15-10 tournament, the center game, taking with the queen and putting the queen on e3. And to me, it felt good. It felt comfortable. It's very aggressive, and I enjoyed it, and I will continue to study. And pretty soon in my other videos, I'll show you the books I've been reading and some of the stuff I've been studying outside of chess.com. But until then, be well, my friends. Black to move. Solve the tactical puzzle, comment below, and tune into the next Chess Novice to Master video for the answer.